Welcome back. It's another episode of Protect You Radio, and I am blessed to be with Candy and Marion again this week. I'm so excited. It's good stuff. Like I said last week, I get so sad when you're not here.
Sniff.
Yeah, horrible stuff. Horrible stuff.
I feel the tears welling.
Yes. Yeah. You must have stubbed your toe too.
I know, right?
Too fun. So, ladies, holding up okay? Everyone's healthy and no COVID in their lives. Good. Good. I like it. So I ran across some interesting articles this week and just doing some show prep and research. And the big question that popped up for me and seems like other people, are gun stores really essential? Oh, that's a couple deep, dark laughs.
I know, right? It's like, wow. Are you seriously asking us that? Heck yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
they are.
what's the argument from our side? Why are they essential?
Well, because when things are not operating as they normally should, and we don't have the regular norm, you know that the deviants in our society decide that they want to take advantage of that. And those of us who are not deviants, who work hard every day and work hard for what we have, intend to keep what we have and are not going to be intimidated by the thugs who decide otherwise.
Marion, you agree with that? You seem to
I
be a
agree.
little more calm and the rational person amongst us. So
Wow, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it.
You need to be able to go to the stores to get ammo, and you may want a new gun. Come on.
But there's enough guns in this country for every man, woman, and child probably 3 times over. Do we need to buy more during a pandemic?
Okay,
Yeah.
you are saying that sarcastically, right? You are being totally
No.
sarcastic.
What about the children?
What about the children?
about
Every
the
single
children?
one of mine shoots. So what about the children?
See, I'm trying to get a
Parents need
well-rounded.
to teach them gun
There
safety.
you go.
Do you need a gun store to teach them gun safety, though?
No,
Yes,
the
you do,
parents
because
need
you
to
have
do
to go
that.
get it. You have to go buy the gun.
I like the arguments. Good. It's a well thought out answer from both of you. I like it. Yeah, that's it's a Second Amendment, and that whole shall not be infringed thing, right?
Exactly. And honestly, Marion and I live in 2 different worlds, and I would love to live where she lives. Unfortunately, I don't. I'm in the inner city, and we literally face 2 different sets of problems. I mean, she deals with coyotes in her backyard. I deal with coyotes walking up and down the sidewalk. So it's
Two-legged predators, huh?
pretty much. She's got 4-legged predators. I've got 2-legged ones. And if they're smart, they'll just keep walking past my house because I'm not putting up with that.
Yeah, I guess they made the Second Amendment pretty high up there. First was being able to talk about this kind of stuff, and second was being able to protect this kind of stuff. So,
Right.
yeah, can't have
And
one
that's
without
the
the
whole
other.
thing, it's not, and we all know that we're seen as gun-toting lunatics and all that. That's not what it is.
Right.
My philosophy is, you leave me alone, I leave you alone, we all good. If we want to play together, let's play together. If you want to cause some trouble, this isn't the place to do it. It's really that simple.
I like it. That's a great outlook. So most of the gun stores up here, and again, if anyone's newer to us, I'm north of the young ladies, and they're a little bit south of me. Makes sense. None of the stores up here really closed. I think one of them may have closed temporarily, but I think it was a cleaning issue versus anything else. Any stores down there closed?
Yeah, the one that's around the corner from my house did. I saw that they were opened up on Sunday.
Is that the first time since this kind of kicked off with everyone?
I don't know for sure, but I did notice that they were open, and there's a lot of cars in the parking lot.
Was it, Marion, did they close on their own, or did they get some type of order from the city that they had to close?
I think they did it on their own because we're in a township, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's always nice to be in a township, nice, quiet. You can shoot in your backyard, right?
I know, right?
Did that Saturday.
Again, look at you.
No, Sunday.
So you were
Sunday.
on fire.
No, Saturday.
I think you've got more live fire than all of us combined around here. That's a good thing. So yeah, I was looking through some articles, and one from United States Concealed Carry Association. They were looking at some of the orders from different states, and I was cracking up at some of this stuff. Maryland, right from their article, it says a large group of Maryland Democratic lawmakers want the state guns stores closed during the outbreak. The group sent a letter to the governor urging him to do so. A letter asking the governor to reconsider following the federal guidelines. So Maryland, I think they've been going back and forth with this and arguing, but surprise from Maryland, right?
I know.
Yeah.
So California, the sheriff in, what was it, Los Angeles County, he stepped up and closed the stores. I'm like, since when does the sheriff have the powers to be closing stores? That's kind of exciting. And they closed it except to police officers and licensed security company employees. That's a little wacky to me. Again,
yeah, it is.
But it's California again. They're going to play by different rules. But I'm curious, the security companies and stuff and police, are they now a different level of citizens where they can? They're the ones who are special and only get to have that privilege now. They're the only ones.
I know, right?
I've seen a movie like that. I think it was called Schindler's List, where the police were the only ones with guns. But what can you say?
But you digress.
That's
right.
That's right. So yeah, then Gavin Newsom, steps up and says, "Hey, I agree with you. We should not do that." But I think they got slapped around, and they're opening their stuff back up, if I remember correctly. So crazy. And of course, New York, Mr. Cuomo, nut job.
I know, right?
Yeah, they close stuff. It's nuts, but what can you do? Virginia, that guy he's been out of hand for a long time. I cannot believe, after all the protests and stuff they had, that they pushed through all of those gun laws, and then now they're shutting down all indoor ranges, and they're considering everyone non-essential. And then he labeled indoor shooting ranges as indoor public amusements. What?
Are you serious?
Oh my God.
So that's how he got around some of this, was by classifying the indoor ranges as indoor public amusement. So I guess that would fall. Oh yeah, it says right here, alongside movie theaters and bowling alleys. Really?
Well, yeah, I always shoot in the bowling alley, don't you?
Yeah.
I shoot bowling pins sometimes, and
you show those pins.
They are not going to be happy when I walk into a bowling alley next time.
Pretty much.
It'll be like time I shot that turkey, but it was in the frozen food section. And how many of them are, like LA and stuff, and even around here, they're releasing prisoners from, because of this whole thing. And holy cow, there's a time you need to go back to a gun store and possibly get ammo. And there were a bunch of us who got caught with our pants down. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people who I know usually have a lot of ammo stocked, and they just weren't ready for this. And that's life, But that's why you need the stores to stay open.
Ammo's gone up in price too.
Oh, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You're seeing like Wolf ammo and some of that Tula stuff going for 3 and 4 times. It's
nuts. Yep. They're taking advantage of it. It's called gouging.
That's crazy. So New Mexico took it even a step further. Michelle Lujan Grisham, she went so far as, we're going to close you, and then gave special mandate to the patrols to drive by the gun stores and enforce their position. So I guess she thought some of these gun-loving, freedom-loving people were going to open on their own. So, that'll happen on occasion. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Massachusetts, they've been going back and forth. How they put this, United States Concealed Carry Station. The government believes that citizens are morons. Gun shops and shooting ranges are not essential businesses during public health emergencies, says the Attorney General. We cannot undermine the safety of our police officers, first responders, and domestic violence victims. So I don't know about you guys, but I didn't get any more violent after the pandemic started than before. So all of the police officers, first responders, and domestic violent people were safe before.
Yeah, and they'll be safe after, and
I don't get it. Tom Wolf, right here next to us in Pennsylvania, he ordered them closed, and then their state Supreme Court stepped up to the legal challenge, and they had to allow them back open. So that was nice to see them step back up.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I pulled up some articles from CNN and stuff, and COVID's one thing that's certain. Owning a gun does not make you any safer from it. You're right. We can't kill the virus with a gun.
You
Absolutely.
want to bet?
I can at least kill a carrier if they sneeze on me, right?
I know. Get the right gun. You can do it.
Sorry. I shouldn't jest. Yeah. There were, let's see if I can dig this article out pretty quick. There was one that gave me, I don't want to say pause, but it was a pretty good piece. It was an op-ed thing in the New York Times of all places. I know, right? So this was actually written by somebody who had a nephew at Sandy Hook who I believe got killed during Sandy Hook. Yeah, horrible, right? But and one of the things that this person pointed out, so it's pushing all of our buttons. Putting a gun in the mix has deadly consequences. Yeah, okay, let's not get overly dramatic. But the police reports that domestic abuse calls are increasing because of the pandemic. So his point is, if we've got guns involved in situations that are volatile, are we going to see an uptick in the gun use in, those type of situations? And I've seen some stats that say that this thing is up by 20 to 50%. I think most of it, the domestic abuse is like 20 and child abuse is up by like 50.
Yeah.
So, but here's my flip side to that, and maybe I'm crazy. If they didn't use the gun before the pandemic, are they going to use the gun now?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And I understand, because I get the look from my wife a lot of times. It is a little bit harder when you're in close quarters. But so far, I am not been abused by her, because that would be the most likely situation. But yeah, it's tough. I'm not going to lie. It's tough. And kids, here's where I have a bigger devil's advocate, is on the kid side. If you are a kid now stuck in a situation where before you might have been able to go out and play, you're at school, that sucks. But just because domestic violence and maybe some child abuse is up, I have not seen any statistics that say that gun usage in those situations is up any higher. Have you guys seen anything like that?
No.
I haven't either. So,
and here's the thing: if there was going to be abuse, it was happening before. Has nothing to do with the pandemic, and chances are good, if they weren't going to use a gun, they would use a bat, they would use their fist, they would use whatever. Abusers are abusers. Don't enable it. I mean, guns don't have anything to do with that. That's who those people are.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of where I was. When I first read the article, I was like, you know what? Person makes a lot of good points. But on the flip side, you're right. The domestic abuse is going to happen. If anything, I will push for, and I'm sure I'm going to get slapped for this, the abusee. This is a good time to think about self-defense.
Yep, there you go.
How do you get out of that situation?
Right.
And if you have to defend yourself, then do what you need to do in that situation. So,
because I can guarantee you, no dude is going to slap a chick that tells him, I'm sorry, click what?
Yep, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the sad thing is they're using this. They use some stat that I've seen before about, if there is a gun in the home, it is more likely to be used against the female in the household. I'm like, I would have to go back and do a little deeper dive on that. I think it goes along with some of the stats they throw about with you're more likely to be killed by your own gun than you'd be able to use it for self-defense, which we know is a bunch of crap. So. Yeah, that's nuts. So yeah, it's not easy. It's a tough time. I did run across one article in USA Today. Fact check: gun sales rise, crimes fall as the coronavirus spreads in the U.S. So yeah, actually crazy. If you read any stuff from John Lott, when gun sales go up, criminals tend to back down a little bit.
You know why? Because an armed society is a polite society.
Keep your logic to yourself.
I know, right? How dare I spew logic? What was I thinking?
So Marion touched on this last week. Firearm revenue is up 309%. And crime is down. I didn't realize the number was that. Is that the stat you threw at me last week, Marion? Was that the number?
I think it was 2.5 million guns were sold in March.
Which shows probably 309%.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. That's beautiful. So yeah, February 23rd to March 15th, the previous 2 days, it went up just in that time frame, 792%.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. I think the USA Today was thinking they were going to show, oh no, guns went up and crime was still up, and actually there were more murders because of the guns going up. And no, absolutely not. Now I'm sure because of the pandemic, most of the criminals are following the stay-at-home rules.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course they are. They always follow rules. That's why they're called criminals.
Am I sensing sarcasm from you two?
Heavens no.
And all these criminals they're letting go. They're out on the streets now.
So this is one my wife and I were discussing yesterday. Do you guys remember the Green River Killer, the serial killer? Killed like 50 people.
Yeah, I think so.
So this guy was up for parole review last week before. Now, mind you, it's California, Oregon. I forget where they got him stashed. They voted 5-4 to keep him in prison. 5-1 vote would have swung the other way and released this maniac back into society to kill how many more people?
Yeah.
So 4 people are absolute and total idiots. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with when it comes to people being released back into society. That is insane to me. This guy, I mean, he admitted to like 49 murders, and I think he may have done as high as 72 or maybe higher. But what? We're going to cut him loose and let him out. That's crazy to me.
Well, of course, because we don't want him catching the coronavirus. I mean, come on, geez.
I mean, seriously, how many people have actually, and I don't have a stat, how many people have actually died in prison from corona? I don't think I saw one corrections officer, I believe. So I'm not understanding and here's the thing, you've got them contained in walls. They're not going to spread it except each other, right? Am I missing something? Your corrections officers are in jeopardy, but they're frontline responders, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crazy to me. What do I know? What do I know? So USA Today they were doing the research on this, and they're ruling true. Crime has significantly declined while the sale of firearms has risen over the past month in the U.S. Both trends appear to be a result from the coronavirus pandemic.
You think? Newsflash!
Yep. It raised the nation's anxiety while emptying its streets. We rate this is true. Yep, that's true. It's true. People are buying guns and probably scared the crap out of criminals. Crazy concept.
I know. What a thought.
Yeah, I saw where Tennessee, I think it's for this month, their sales have gone up because the people getting their stimulus checks are going out and buying guns.
I bet that I would love to be able to track who got stimulus checks and within 2 weeks bought a gun. And I'm sure you could probably, well, at least through the FFLs, you would be able to tell that real quick.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of funny memes out there about that stuff. It was cracking me up. So I cut a podcast in between you guys being on with me and how to spend your stimulus check. And did you guys watch Tiger King?
No.
Don't waste your time.
Thank you.
No, I loved it because I'm an idiot. So it was right up my alley. Stupid redneck and tigers went well together. So I said, did you know that you could buy a tiger at one point for $2,000?
What?
You could buy a baby tiger for $2,000. Let me tell you, that was a battle for me. Guns and ammo or a baby tiger.
Or a baby tiger. Man.
Let's just say it's a good thing I'm married because my wife.
You'd have that tiger, dude.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
Well, maybe not, because being married, I got a little more in the stimulus check, right? So my suggestion was to go out and buy some tiger ammo, since I couldn't buy an actual tiger.
Boom.
I couldn't find a bell. Sorry, Candy. I looked downstairs.
I know, right? Where's the bell?
I had a cowbell at one point for soccer games, and I could not find it because I was going to integrate it into the show this week.
Dang it.
I know.
We got to have a bell for next week, so I got to come up with something.
So I'm just glad to hear that neither of you bought a tiger. But
Nope.
Yeah.
I was tempted, though. I can't lie.
So, Marion, any other states that you heard about besides Tennessee going up? I wonder why that was.
No.
Why they were kind of singled out.
I don't know.
That's funny. Interesting. Where'd you see the article?
Where did I see?
Remember?
I don't remember.
It is so hard to keep track.
Yeah.
I see stuff all the time, and I'm like, what? How?
Yeah, I'm not sure where I saw it.
Interesting.
But it perked my eyes.
Yeah, it made me laugh thinking about all the different things this week with that kind of stuff and
Yeah.
pandemic numbers, and again, not getting into the negative of the pandemic, but and kind of along those lines, people getting caught with their pants down on ammo sales, food storage, food. How many people were running out and buying? Well, they bought toilet paper, which I think, again, growing up a redneck, I could get away without toilet paper and probably go out and, do like the dog on the front lawn. But, food, I was shocked at how many people chose toilet paper over food. I mean, I know they need fiber in their diet, but who's going to eat the toilet paper?
And there's still a shortage of toilet paper.
It's every time I'm in Walmart, I kind of roll by just as makes me laugh. I run by just to check it and see what happened and where it went from there.
Candy?
Yep. She just texted me and said, "Sorry guys, my computer crashed. Be back soon."
Okay.
So that sucks. So, but I'm going to get into food storage shenanigans. So, Marion, are you a food storage person? Or wait,
no.
let me. I was going to say, let me. I don't want anybody coming to your house. All right, do you know people who are food storage people? How's that?
No, I don't.
No kidding. So you don't know any preppers that have like 50 pounds of wheat or anything like that?
Nope. Don't know any.
Yeah, this is kind of a weak spot for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm lazy. I don't want to buy buckets. I don't want to buy Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers. I just don't want to take the time to pack all that stuff. And God only knows I would probably forget to put a what do they call them? Oxygen absorber in there, and it would probably stink to high heaven. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that people suggest for food storage, it's just not stuff that we already eat.
Yeah.
I already give my wife gas. I don't want her eating a bunch of stuff we don't usually eat and causing stress and having her eat unfamiliar foods and make it even worse on a poor woman. Yeah, that would be bad news. So yeah, we've never gotten into that side of things.
No.
I just don't. More power to them. It probably is a good idea, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm more into, if I'm going to do it, probably MRE type stuff.
Right.
Some of them are pretty good. Some of them not so much. Have you ever had them?
No.
Yeah, they're depending on the menu. So when I was playing Army in college, I had chicken a la king. And why anybody thought chicken a la king and an MRE would be a good idea, I don't know. I got it on the buttstock of my toy rifle I was playing with. And then I had to lay in the woods all night with that nasty smell on the butt of the rifle right up under my nose. And it kept wafting up. I was like, what? That stuff should be called chicken a la butt crack because it was bad. I was like, what? This is awful. What in the heck? So I guess they're good. I've had some for camping and stuff.
Yeah. They're
pretty tasty and they have a good shelf life. They're a little expensive, but if you can find them, if somebody's selling a bunch of them that are, only 2 years away from expiring, I think they've got like a 20-year shelf life on them.
Wow.
So,
I think like the Finn and, places like that, I think they sold out.
Oh, I bet they did.
And the epidemic started.
Yeah, I bet they sold out of those real fast.
Nobody knew what was going on.
People were terrified, and I think people are still a little afraid, especially today. Did anybody see this article from Tyson today about, so Tyson Chicken Food Company throws this thing out about how the food supply chain is starting to collapse. Do you really want to? That's how you start a panic.
Really?
This is how you get a panic. And I didn't read the whole article, but I know Tyson at one point was shipping the food to China and bringing it back in to have it processed. They process it overseas. And then, gosh, that's crazy concept, But shooting an article out like that, I'm like, what? It was like a full-page ad in the New York Times or something they took out. So they must be having issues. And then you hear about all these companies dumping milk and eggs and killing their animal. I'm like, man, there are so many people out there that you could turn that stuff over to.
Right. I don't understand that.
I'm with you. I don't, and I don't claim to understand supply chain or what the cost would be for a company to do that. But you hear about all these people who don't have food, and I hear you dumping hundreds of gallons of milk at a time. How does that work out? I don't understand.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I don't. It is what it is, I guess. I've had some of the freeze-dried foods. I'm a big fan of Mountain House. I don't keep a huge amount of it on hand. But it's a nice, again, that's another 20-year shelf life stuff. Can get a little expensive, but it's good. I enjoy the taste of it. It works out pretty well.
Uh-huh.
So Ken, we were talking about food storage and stuff. Are you, well, let me, again, I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you know people who are food preppers and store stuff?
Actually, I do not. And oddly enough, I don't. I know people who are very common sense, and they have like their week supply, but that's their normal life. I mean, I don't know any preppers. I don't know anybody who's got a school bus buried in their backyard and stuff like that. But the majority of my friends, it was something like this happening. Oh, okay, we're good for a week. And then we may have to go out and get bread and milk or something like that, unless you have Elsie in your backyard. But
I was shocked because you usually, and I've done it, and I think society equates gun owners with preppers.
Yeah.
So yep. I was kind of surprised how few people really store food. But I think you hit on a keyword there, Candy. It was common sense stuff.
Yes.
Is it, for me, it's makes more sense, and Mary and I were talking about this, is it makes more sense to have food on hand that you're going to eat.
Exactly. Why am I storing pinto beans if I never eat pinto beans? And under stress, oh yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is run for the pinto beans.
As I told Mary, and I said, I already give my wife gas. I don't want to make her eat foods under stress that are going to make it worse for her. Yeah.
We need the bell.
Yeah, got enough dinglings here. We don't need another one.
I like that.
Yeah. So, do you ladies can at all, or grow gardens, or anything like that, or know anyone who's kind of?
We do a garden, but we don't can.
Yeah, I love canning as a kid when I was at my grandparents, because everyone kind of hung out together and we did everything together. We processed everything together, and then we canned together, and it was a family thing. So I love doing that. But now, good luck. Can't imagine. And I do a garden every year, but I can't imagine. That's a lot of work.
It is. That's a lot of work.
Canning process takes a whole, and you know what? Botulism is not my friend.
I was going to say, if you jack it up, you will pay for it. And it's like, no. I love the concept of it, the whole Martha Stewart and have the warm breeze blowing through the kitchen as you're doing all this mess. But the reality is 14 people trying to use the same toilet at the same time because they got botulism, not a good day.
Yeah.
Not a good day.
That's insane to me. And again, we never got sick. I don't remember my grandparents ever going to a grocery store, quite frankly, but I was a little kid. The only time I got to go to the grocery store with them is when my grandfather was out of those little orange slices, those little candy things. He'd be like, boy, go across the street and get me some orange slices. I said, okay, Pat, whatever you need, man. Of course, being a short, fat kid, I wanted an orange slice, so I would gladly go do that.
But you have to remember, too, they had a lot more patience than we did.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, what you mean it got to boil for 12 hours on low? No, you just turn it all the way up and boil it for 3, and that's just as good.
They didn't have Xbox and PlayStation either, so yeah, what the heck?
Hey, I didn't say that. You did.
It had stuff to keep them occupied. They would have probably not done that.
I know, right?
But yeah, I can't can food from the store. Things like that. That to me seems like the easy button. I know they're high in sodium, but if you're under stress, you're going to burn that sodium off probably anyways.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and mostly canned food will last a long time. Mm-hmm. From what I've read, it says, those are not expiration dates as much as they are suggested dates. So, yeah, you know what? I'll eat some of that stuff. Again, the suggestions I've seen is if you buy canned food from the store and it's swollen, don't eat that one. Yeah, don't eat that one.
We'll pass on that can.
Yeah, and this is, it's easy. I buy the cheap corn at Walmart. What is it, 40 cents a can? If every time I go to the store and I buy 2 or 3 cans of vegetables and stuff them down in the basement and then rotate them through. So the next time I go and buy 2 or 3, I eat the last 2 or 3 I bought and keep the new 2 or 3 back on the shelf. So that seems like an easy way to do it.
It's called first in, first out.
Yeah, exactly. And I love, I'm going to admit this, I love potted meat.
Do you really?
I do.
You don't admit that.
Dude,
no.
cow lips and pig butt goodness. Yes.
I know.
A little mayo.
Dude, that's like a notch below treat and spam. No.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize actually how healthy spam is. Not healthy, but of all the potted meats, spam is like legit ham and pork shoulder.
Yeah, it is.
I said, what? I had no idea. I just thought it was something my mom fed me because it was cheap and make some chip chop ham on some toast and feed the entire group.
Dude, when I was a kid, the thing was to get treat and cut it like super, super thin and then put it in a skillet and grill it until like the edges got a little charred and put that on bread with some cheese. Oh man, you were in heaven.
I gotta try it. Never had treat. I gotta try that.
Oh my gosh. It's actually a sweeter spam.
Really?
Yes. If you like spam, you'll love treat because it's just a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a whirl. I haven't tried it out. Yeah, I'm learning all kinds of new stuff.
I know, right? From the treat connoisseur. Yes.
That's awesome. I love
The
it.
queen of canned meats.
Yeah. So I was digging through, trying to do some research on this because, again, this is not in my wheelhouse so much. Yeah, we keep some food around extra, but I started thinking about it. If we're protecting our families with guns, why not a little food prep? And they talked about Best By dates and how they're kind of, suggested dates.
Suggestions. Yep. See, that's what we do because I have a large family. So,
Yeah.
truth be told, when this whole thing went down, the only thing I quote rushed to the store for was milk and bread.
Yeah, right.
We have everything else. There's no way I'm going to have a house full of 14 people and not keep food on hand all the time. That's just common sense.
And some of these tips I pulled up from the Sensible Prepper, temperature when you store your food, 75 degrees. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I throw it in my base, it's ever going to get above 75. So I think we're okay there.
Yeah.
Dented cans, they should be okay as long as they're not too dented. It's not like Homer Simpson going in and throwing stuff down and denting them on purpose.
I know, right?
Yeah. They suggest if you're open a can, check it, see, does it smell? Well, if I'm eating tuna out of a can, of course it's going to smell. But if it's a funny color or anything, and they talk about botulism, that made me laugh. and if in doubt, crazy concept, throw it out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the big things that people don't think about, so they store all these canned foods, and I've talked to people I've seen have stuff, and I'm like, hey, where's your can opener? And they look at me like, oh.
No,
thought that part
you're
through.
Stand there with a hammer and beat on it until it exploded. Didn't you know that?
I know. I laughed. I literally talked to people, and they're like, John, we hadn't thought about that.
Now, you know what's super funny is I run across people like that all the time. The same thing. They've got all these cans of all this stuff, and I will simply ask them, where's your can opener? Oh, it's up here somewhere. And if you think about the fact that you're eating out of cans that are in your basement and all that, chances are good there's no electricity and there's been some major something that has happened, right? And then it's so funny because they will run upstairs and they'll rummage through, that drawer that we all have. I know it's in here somewhere. And I'm thinking to myself, you're under stress, you're in the dark, you're trying to do this, and you think this is going to work for you. Okay, no, it's just hilarious to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd fall down the steps with the can opener and probably slice my jugular and be a statistic that way. This is how things happen to me. So I found another list from this prepper site that talks about some of the foods you might want to think about if you're that are probably good staples. Apples come in a can. That's not a bad way to go. It gives you a little sweet. It's now this one I had no idea. Did anyone else know that bacon comes in a can?
Yes, actually, I did know that.
Really?
Yes. And there's also a maple bacon that comes. Oh my gosh, it is to die for. It's so good.
And how do I not know? Listen, between potted meat and potted bacon, I could survive for years, man.
This is true. Between treat and maple bacon, I'm good.
Cow. And it's got a 10-year shelf life.
Yep.
Wow.
That's crazy. I mean, if you're looking for long-term storage and not have to worry about rotate, that's a good one. I'm seeing my basement at least a full wall being bacon at this point.
Well, when this all started, Ken said we wouldn't go hungry because there's doves and there's squirrels and maybe a deer.
Oh, yeah, you guys are set. If you got all that, that's funny. I literally thought about, I'm going to start buying deer corn and just make my yard like a deer playground. And if all hell breaks loose, it's going to be like a drive-through for me over here.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
So
Alrighty then. Well, I know where I'm bringing my family. Yes.
Absolutely. You're welcome. So
yes.
they mentioned baked beans. I'll say all canned beans are pretty good. But listen, you might be in tight quarters. There's baked beans and other types of beans.
Not a good
idea.
No.
Right?
No.
Am I missing
we're
something?
all locked down together and we're all going to eat beans.
That's a horrible idea.
That's going to go over well.
Yeah.
So they mentioned beef stew. Okay, I can see beef stew as long as it doesn't have the beans in it. It's, it lasts good shelf life, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein. So bread. So this is another one. Bread in a can?
Didn't know about that. No, didn't know about that.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
This is crazy. Now they did say that it's BMM, a company called B&M offers a product called canned brown bread, which serves as a decent substitute. They said it's not the best tasting bread and it's not something you want to use to make a sandwich. Then why in the hell would I eat it?
Then why would you have it? Exactly.
Really?
It doesn't taste good. You can't make a sandwich with it, but it's bread.
Yeah, that's like saying, hey, I think I'll eat dog crap because.
There you go. Because,
really?
well, you can.
Because you can, right? I mean,
you can stick something between two poop turds. I mean, come on.
I'm going back to the paleo diet. This brown bread and bean thing is a bit much. It's a bit much. So canned chicken, I've always had canned chicken. I'll even make enchiladas and stuff. Quick, if I need a quick meal for the kids, whip open a can of chicken and toss it in and some cheese and we're good. Yeah. Chili in a can, okay, it tastes good, but back to the bean thing and what's in that chili, I'd be careful. Corn, yeah, corn's easy. Everyone seems to like corn.
Yes.
That's an easy, and it's high in calories, so that's good if you end up doing crazy stuff. Diced tomatoes, yeah, okay, a lot of stuff. I make a lot of stuff with tomatoes. Green beans, yeah. Pie filling, yeah. Let me tell you, between bacon and pie filling, I'd be set.
Yes. And you can use that bread in a can since you can't use it for sandwiches.
We are not. There will never be bread in a can in my house. I don't
know,
care.
right?
Ever. I'm not even gonna try. Some of these things I look and I go, I might try that. Bread in a can, not happening. Sorry.
Can you see yourself turning around going, yo, baby, pass me that can of bread? Like, something wrong with that. Yo, baby, pass the bread. Pass that can over here.
Not happening.
No, unless it's biscuits. There we go.
Yes. And that, listen, I'll build a fire out back and we'll make biscuits in a heartbeat.
We can make biscuits.
Absolutely. But yeah, my stove's working. We're making biscuits. No brown bread.
I know, right?
I would have to be in such dire, we're talking Walking Dead type.
Pretty much, yes.
Scenario.
Something would have to be moaning, drooling, and dragging. Okay, definitely.
And they suggest all kinds of soups. Soups are easy to store, right, in cans, and some of them aren't horrible. So they mentioned Spam. So they said it's a higher quality meat product, which again, this is something product.
Okay, I always kind of quiver when the word product is used in my food.
Yeah, right. Hair product, food product.
I know, cheese product. Product. That's it.
Cheese product.
Cheese product.
Oh, cheese whiz. Funny.
I didn't say any names.
No, I'm with you. Tuna fish, it's high in fats, good fats and protein, so that's a good one. Vegetable medley, and this is a pretty good point. You get all those different vegetables in one can instead of having to buy a bunch of different cans. I guess as long as you liked all the ones that were in the vegetable medley.
Yes.
So that's not a bad idea. It'd save you space, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's I like that idea. So, and again, they talk about rotating your foods and stuff like that and all that good stuff. So now they do say, this made me laugh, sometimes the labels fade and fall off. This would be the only time I might open the bread can because I didn't know what was in it.
Okay, my friend, if it's been there that long that the label has faded and fallen off, that is not on tonight's dinner table. It's just
awesome.
Not.
That's awesome.
Just not.
Yeah. I don't get it. So yeah, they talk about the can opener thing, and if you're going to use your knife to open cans, I've seen some horrible accidents happen with knives and cans. You need to be very careful if you're using your knife as a can opener. I love it. Yeah, so I guess you would need a pretty heavy duty knife to get through some of those cans and do it properly and not. And here's my thing: if you've got a knife for survival, well, you don't want to screwing up open cans.
No.
I think that would make your knife pretty not sharp, pretty fast.
Yeah, really.
I don't know. Good stuff. So speaking of knives, we were kind of going to touch on that, I think, tonight. So ladies, are you knife carriers?
Yes.
Yep.
And are they defense? No, let me word this properly. Are they tools you use that if you happen to be in a circumstance, they might work in self-defense?
Well, John, mine is a box cutter. Didn't you know
Yeah.
that?
Well played. Well played.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I cut a lot of string and boxes and stuff with mine. So yeah, I'm with you. It's and I know some people who carry two separate knives. One is for social occasions and one is for doing work. So,
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
right, who was it? Who was it? Was it? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Some famous Marine said you should always carry a knife in case somebody needs some cheesecake cut or
There you
something
go.
along those lines. So
There you go.
so I always laugh. So when I was teaching for Suarez International, Gabe came up with, I think it was 10 points when you're picking a knife. And the one I laugh at every time is point 1. It needs to be sharp as hell and pointy as F. I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not much good if it's not.
Yeah,
Right.
dull knives. I think more accidents probably happen with dull knives than anything. People push too hard and slip, and yeah, it's ugly. Ugly. And I try to get away from. So he talks about being pointy. I see a lot of people carrying these rescue knives around, and I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I understand cutting the seatbelt and stuff, but if you're using it for anything beyond that, those round noses, I guess it could be driven into flesh, but I don't know. And yeah,
I guess.
I guess I don't want to think about it. I don't want to be the guy that's trying it. I just I don't want to be the guy who's got to hire the attorney to be the test case. I don't want to be the guy who's trying to push a butter knife into somebody, but I don't have to.
There you go.
Yeah.
So he also talks about point in line with the handle. Are you ladies, with your knife you're carrying, are they? Is there any type of, I guess, any upsweep to a blade or down sweep to the blade so it kind of hooks or curves?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it usually like that? Okay.
Yes.
What was the reason behind that pick?
The training I've taken.
Oh, okay. Are
Yeah.
Are you guys carrying karambits or?
Now, do you really
okay.
think I'm going to tell you that?
I don't know, and this is why I'm asking.
And yes, I had the training also.
Oh, okay. I know that karambits, that takes a long time to learn, I think. I've seen some people like, hey, I bought this because I saw that guy spinning it around on his finger. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. So I wonder how much time people put into some of those blades, and wonder if they're learning hey, again, this thing swept really far one way and it's really hard to stick in somebody's soft tissue, but
And see, that's the kind of thing, honestly, I don't have time for that. I wish I did, because
Yeah.
some of these people, they literally could carve statues with their knives in one swoop, but I don't have time for that. My objective is to defend myself until I can get to my firearm.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't know that I would, and I don't, of course, by Ohio law, you would never use a knife offensively, in Ohio. This is strictly I happen to have this thing on me, and it was the only available tool I had at the point, and did what I had to do. So
at the point,
well done. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. I caught it.
Uh-huh.
I get the bell.
Bravo. Yeah. And then they talk about, another point is, how long is it? It's got to be long enough to do things. Listen, I don't buy the how long it has to be thing anymore. I used to be one of those people that said, I'm going to have the biggest knife. I'm going to carry this Decapitator 3000.
Yes.
So I don't want to say fall. I don't buy into that as much anymore, because again, back to the training, and you talk about, a lot of my training came from Mike Janich, and he talks about, hey, with this 2-inch blade, I can reach all that meaty stuff under the wrist, up in armpits and stuff.
Yep.
So Yeah, I don't know how long the blade, and he talks about being defensible in court, which absolutely, you don't want to,
Yep.
again, don't want to be in court with a Decapitator 3000.
I gotta write that down somewhere. I love that.
I
Decapitator 3000.
tell my shooting students don't carry a judge because the judge would be like, oh, you think you're the judge? And I tell my knife students don't carry a Decapitator 3000 because it's real hard to argue that it was a knife tool.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, we were told that too. It's like, don't be putting, what was it? Shoot them all and let God sort them out and stuff like that. Don't be putting that kind of stuff on your firearm or anything like that, because totally indefensible in court.
Absolutely.
You're SOL in court.
Yeah, there was even that cop who had an issue. It might have been in Cincinnati where he had the Punisher logo on his gun. Oops.
Yeah, it's like, no, can't do that. No.
That'll get you in trouble real fast. Talk about the handles and the grips and stuff. Something that's rough. I've seen people carrying these shiny silver, I'll call them gentleman knives. And man, if you try to stick that in somebody and you hit a bone, your hand is going to slide forward.
Yes, it is.
And nothing worse than wounding yourself.
I know. So what happened to the other guy? I don't know. I was too busy crying over my own hand.
Cut my own finger off.
I know, right?
That's just crazy. And if you're sweating and you're scared, that just adds to the, hey, how slick is this thing going to be in my hand?
Yeah, definitely.
And locks, this is another thing I think people don't think through is how the blade locks open. What kind of lock do you guys have on your knives? Does it have like a lock on the back on the top, or is it more like a thing you have to release in the handle? What's yours like?
I don't have one. I don't have a lock.
Okay.
I have a fixed blade.
Let me take a moment.
Tell me you love me.
there is nothing better than a fixed blade knife.
Amen. Because I've tried the other ones and the flips and all that good stuff. They're cool looking when you whip them out and all that, but mine is way faster. I've already done my damage by the time you've whipped yours out.
Yeah, that's hey, easy how you word that.
I know, right? Don't go there, family show.
No, if you watch any demos online and stuff, and you look at how long it takes you to open a knife and versus somebody who's got a fixed blade, and how quickly they can reach out and touch somebody, it's night and day.
Yep.
Night and day. Yep. Yeah, and under stress, trying to open a folding knife, holy shnikes. It just, somebody's punching you in the face, and here, I'm going to thumb flip this thing and pop it open, right? Of course you are.
I love the ones in class who whip it out and open it on their pocket, and that looks so cool. But then you come to that last training of the day where it's just kind of a free-for-all, and they go to do that same thing, and they can't find that pocket to save their life, and the other person has thoroughly beat them to a pulp by then.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, okay, that's real life, dude. The whole whipping it out and it looking cool, that's not realistic unless you do that every single day.
Yeah, and I carry a knife that has that wave on it. I don't carry a fixed blade because I'm dressed up pretty some days, and the fixed blade doesn't fit into my wardrobe all the time. So I do carry the wave knife because it is faster than a regular getting it open if you can get to it. And that's what I warn everyone is that wave is not the end all be all. When you're rolling around on the ground or you're trying to, and I compare trying to open a waved blade to limp wristing a gun sometimes. And people look at me like, what are you talking about, John? I said, if your hands are moving, the gun's not going to function the way it's supposed to, and the recoil is going to not work, and the empty case is not going to come out. I said, if you start moving your leg in the same direction you're trying to pull that knife against the wave, guess what? It doesn't catch the pocket. Oh, who knew? And if somebody's on top of you and they've got you mounted and their legs are around your pockets,
how are you going to get to it?
Yeah, and not that you guys would understand pocket carry, but
I know, right? We don't do the pocket carry. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd either need to have a really good way to open it or fixed blade. But I love the fixed blade. That's by far the best way to go. So that's funny. I know some states don't allow a fixed blade, and I had a guy who was building sheaths for us for our guns at one point, and he would make a sheath for a folding knife that actually you could keep the knife open and slide it into the sheath. I was like, that's ingenious. You
Yeah.
sir, have met a problem and solved it. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it was technically a fixed blade, but you couldn't argue in court that it was a fixed blade. So good stuff. Good steel. Yeah, people get into the steel, I know, heavily, and they're like, you need this CM42 because it stays sharper. I was like, listen, if it stays sharp long enough for me to stick it in somebody's eyeball, we're good. I don't
Yep.
need to worry about.
Really.
I'm not out in the jungle. I'm not
No,
out
no.
on a survival quest.
You're
walking
not
around.
alone.
Right. I'm walking around, in the city or, out here in my little suburb, and I'm not too worried about the steel getting all wet and nasty. So, yeah. And clip, so you're both carrying fixed blades, so probably in a sheath, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Yep.
Excellent. Yep. So yeah, that's not something you probably want to carry unsheathed. If you're listen, people carry their guns without a holster, right? I'm sure there's knife people who don't carry sheaths. So
Which just scares me half to death when I
Yeah.
hear people, I just toss it in my pocket. I'm like, all righty then. And which side do you shoot with so I can walk on the other side? Thank you.
I'm fine with that because at some point, if it's a gentleman, he's probably going to shoot himself where he shouldn't, and we get him. He's not going to procreate, so that's good.
I know, right?
Listen, I am all about letting society do what they want and let Darwin take his course.
I'm all for Darwinism. Totally.
Yep, absolutely. Thin that herd. So if people are carrying a folder, I always suggest, and this comes right from Gabe, is make sure that clip is movable so you can switch it to pockets. So having those clips be movable is kind of nice. You can go to reverse grip if you need to, all that good stuff. So and one, I always laughed at Gabe because him and a lot of guys were going out of the country and in scary places. They said, buy cheap knives. They can't be traced back to you. I was like, this is not something I need to worry about.
How funny.
Like, if you've got to ditch it, you don't want to have this 1 of 10 knives ever made. So when they find it, they go, oh, this has blood on it. And let's trace it back to the knife maker. Oh, there were only 10 made last year? Oh, and so-and-so was in the country today? Oh, I think we figured it out.
I know. Gee, not rocket science.
Yeah, I see a lot of people going to those fruit knives when they travel. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Those. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of different options out there, things to think through when you're carrying a knife or thinking about a knife. So lots of stuff to process and think through. Good points. Gabe's always a good one. Mike Janish is always a good one. Tom Sodas, when you're talking knife training and tips on what knife to carry. Greg Ellifritz, of course, is amazing.
Yeah.
Did you guys do your training through Greg?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Very good. Yeah, I haven't been to that class yet, but that's one of my to-do this year. So
Don't miss it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Amazing.
I did see, kind of training-wise, Range Master Tom Givens is teaching an instructor course, and I think it's Xenia in August. So I might have to forego the Tiger and go get me some training from Tom Givens.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love to get into an instructor class with him. That would be pretty exciting, but cool. Well, ladies, I think we've wasted everyone's time for another hour.
Yes.
Yes.
Or at least ours, or anyone else listening. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Anything I missed while we were chit-chatting? I know we talked about maybe discussing a court case this week from Andrew Branca, and I'm not going to lie, you guys, that stuff gets complicated, and my head was actually hurting to think about how we were going to talk about it. But I would suggest anyone listening, check out Andrew's. He does like 4 cases a week and looks at how the courts looked at different cases and how you would defend it. And it's actually pretty interesting. He's been doing a lot of good stuff. I think his book is The Law of Self-Defense. That's a pretty good book. So I would highly suggest anything that he's putting out there, people check out. Any other training you ladies seen coming through that we might want to think about?
Well, I think a lot of things are kind of still up in the air until we find out how things are going to be opened and how they're going to allow it. I was kind of glancing at DeWine's slow open recommendations, and that's going to make things a little hairy for a little bit. So
that's nuts.
Absolutely. So we're going to have to kind of play it by ear, but I think since we're meeting weekly, we'll have the opportunity to update the listeners when things get a little more concrete.
Yeah, good. All right. Anything else we need to cover and wisdom we need to send out to the interwaves, outer webs.
Yes, someone needs to send John a bell.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe I'll just get a drum kit and do rim shots. Maybe
There you go.
My wife would love that just as much as a tiger, probably.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you for joining me again this week. I appreciate it. And
Thank you. It's fun as always.
We have fun, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Hope everyone has a great week and everyone have a blessed week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay,
All right.
guys.
Take
Bye.
care, guys. Bye-bye.